Hey, my name is Ken Pozek, real estate agent here in Orlando, Florida. And if you're thinking about buying a new house, you're probably thinking about new construction. Over 30% of the houses here in Central Florida that are getting sold are new construction, so the opportunities are plentiful. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the pitfalls and the mistakes, as well as opportunities that you have when building new construction. Stay tuned. So starting off this journey, you're going to want to decide where in Orlando do you want to live. Are you going to build a house in the Parks area, like Reunion and some of the Davenport areas? Are you going to build it up in Medical City? Or maybe over to the west in Horizon West, where a lot of new construction. It's actually one of the fastest growing new construction neighborhoods in the country. And so once you decide that, then you have to make a decision on what builder you want to work with. Deciding, do you need the amenities that a lot of these builders offer? Like we're here in Waterley by D.R. Horton, and they have 2 amenities with a 0 entry pool and multiple gyms and all this kind of stuff that you're obviously going to pay for. So if you're not going to utilize that, and hey, you want to have your own pool in the backyard, then maybe this neighborhood's not for you. But deciding what builder to work with obviously comes down to price with affordability as well as quality, and finding that equilibrium to find out exactly what's important to you. So now that you've chosen the builder and the neighborhood that you want to build in, we have to decide what lot that you want to actually go on. And this might be a clear-cut sort of thing. Let's come and take a look over this way. This might be a clear-cut thing for you. You might say, hey, I want to back to a lake, or I want to back to conservation, or I don't even really care. Money is all that matters to me. But there's a lot of things that go into the decision on which lot you're actually going to choose. So there's really 2 things that you want to pay attention to when you're choosing your lot. One is going to be the way that the builder prices a lot of these lots. Some builders, like Pulte is a good example, they have a great base price. It's like very attractive to get people in the door, but then the lot premiums are usually very expensive. And so a lakefront property is going to be, 100,000 plus, but then something backing to a wall might be only 10,000. Where other builders are going to be a little bit higher on their base premium, but they're going to have a lower lot premium. And so a lot of this stuff just kind of comes out in the wash, but just we're paying attention during the process to make sure that the base price isn't so attractive that that's the only thing that sells you on, because the lot premium could really blow your budget out completely. Let's go back here a little bit farther. So the other thing when we're talking about lot is going to be, what do you back to? So whether you're backing to a lake, backing to another house, or backing to conservation. And while we're here, let's talk about a couple things. So when you're choosing your lot, you want to know how deep does it actually go? And every builder should be able to give you a lot layout. And at closing, you're going to get an actual official survey, but the builder should be able to tell you what's on the easement. Is there a utility easement back here? How far back into the woods does your lot actually go? If you want to build a pool, what's that envelope look like? How close to your neighbor's going to be? Those are all things that you need to pay attention to when you're choosing your lot. It's a very important piece of the entire process. So there's 2 parts that you'll need to pay attention to when you're actually going through the design process. One is going to be your structural upgrades, and the second is the design center. When we're talking about structural upgrades, what specifically do I mean? Well, if you're going to turn this loft into, say, a media room, which I've seen before, then that's a structural upgrade that you're going to have to do while you're signing the contract with the builder. It's not something you can decide to do later on in the process. Say you want to turn 2 princess suites into a Jack and Jill. That's something that you'd have to do when you're signing the contract. And so having all of those things chosen and selected before you sign the contract is going to be really important. So the fun part of the process is getting to design the house exactly how you want, making it feel more like your style. And so you're going to be spending somewhere between 8 and 12% of your purchase price on options for the house. And there's 3 things that people spend the most on, which are cabinets typically, countertops, and flooring. Those are the most expensive. Most of the time the builders are going to offer carpet in everything other than the wet areas. And so here you can see they actually did tile throughout and hardwood up the stairs. Those are really big upgrades when you're going through to build your own house. There's other things that I would want you to pay attention to, which is staying sort of on trend. My wife hates this when we're building houses, and we've built a bunch together, is that I'm always like, how is this going to play out over the next 5 to 10 years? When I go to resell this, am I actually going to get a return on the money that we're putting in there? Something to pay attention to. But one thing I want to show you real quick. So one thing people don't pay attention to enough is the actual carpet, but not just the carpet, but the pad underneath. It's actually only a few $100s to upgrade from a 6-pound pad to an 8-pound pad, and that's going to actually make your carpet feel more expensive and last longer. They say kitchens and baths sell houses, which is totally true. And now I know we're building this house for you and your family and that sort of thing, but when we're going to sell this property and you guys give me a call to actually sell your property, we want to make sure that we're getting top dollar. So paying attention to design trends is going to be really important. You'll notice this bathroom has no tub. And so I know some people will tell me, like, I've never used my tub in 10 years. But you have to think there's a good percentage of buyers out there that really want a tub. And so having a tub somewhere in the house is going to be important when you're making those design choices. And so when you call me to help you with the process, I'm going to walk you through the design center to make sure you're making wise decisions that are going to give you a return for years to come. One of the things that buyers ask me is, should they get a new home inspection during the process? I suggest that you actually get a two-part process. One, right before the drywall goes up. That's after the electrical's done, plumbing, everything is about to get hidden behind the walls, so that you can make sure that all the little things have been taken care of properly and it's not a big, huge mess down the road that you'll have to fix. And then the second part is going to be during the new home orientation, or right before it. You're going to make sure that all the things that you actually paid for are in the house, because that builders are building something by hand. It's a very natural process, obviously, that things just get missed. And so having another set of eyes to make sure that everything is perfect in the house is going to be to your benefit and well worth the cost. So the last thing we're going to talk about is, should you be working with a realtor during the build process? Now, the builders actually put our commission in their marketing budget. So if you go in alone, you're actually not going to be saving the fee that you think that you would if you cut out the realtor. Some buyers think that they can kind of navigate the process themselves because they've done it so many times in the past. Well, if you haven't worked with this particular builder in this particular area, you're most likely leaving money on the table. A good realtor that you work with is going to help save you time and money through the process by negotiating the best deal and looking out for your best interest through the entire process. I'd love to be working with you here. If you're thinking about building a house in Central Florida, my number is 407-717-0197, or shoot me an email at ken@pozekgroup.com, and let's get started. Talk to you soon.